right. This is the Brown Dude Gun Show. My name is JP Garcia here today with Brandon Elias. We are going to talk about something that he and I thought we've talked about before. And I think we have talked about it in passing. And I think we talk all around it. But today we're going to talk about how to carry your pistol. If let's just put it out there right now so nobody gives us any crap. Carry your pistol legally, okay? Whatever state you're in, go follow all the regulations, follow all the rules. If you have to take a class, take the class, do all of that stuff. Do it right. But let's assume we're starting with the assumption that you have the legal right in your state to carry a gun. Okay. Yep. So, and I think before we've talked about which guns we carry. I think.
Somewhat. The gun I'm usually carry every day that for the past couple of years. Before this, I carried a Glock 19. But a couple of years ago, whenever SIG released a 365, it kind of piqued my interest. And then they released this model, which is the Spectre comp model. It has like a gold trigger, gold barrel, but the main thing, it has this ported slide on it. So it's a comp slide. Mm-hmm. And this is the first model they released with that comp slide. And Max had one. So we were practicing one day. He's like, dude, check this thing out. It's kind of cool. They actually ported the slide instead of the barrel because it's like the first thing that, first time they ever did that. And I shot it. I was like, dude, this thing shoots like a big gun. Like it shoots like a Glock 19, right? So I was like, all right, I got to get one. So I ended up buying one of those. It was like stupid expensive too. Whenever they first came out, it was like $1,200 or something that for this gun. Now you can get like the X macro for like $800 or so.
Nice.
So it's like $400 off.
That's the right price. Yeah.
So that's the one I would recommend. But I do like this one. It has like a cool looking slide on it. It's like from the custom shop.
Okay.
So, the trigger's pretty good on it. The other thing it has is a 12-round grip, which I really like. So it came from the factory with 12-round grip. Mm-hmm. And it did have a plate cutout and then a rear sight cutout. I just took the rear sight off because the rear sight's inside the optic that I have. So I run an EPS carry with a 6 MOA dot on it. I like a bigger dot. We were just talking about that earlier. Especially on slide mounted optics, the slide's moving back and forth. So I want the bigger dot in order to track it a little bit easier instead of a smaller like 2 MOA dot. I see a lot of people come in. It's like, hey, I want a 2 MOA dot or a 3.25, whatever. And on a slide mounted dot, I would highly recommend do not get a smaller dot.
Right.
Get a bigger one. Imagine like a piece of paper and you have a ballpoint pen and you're making like strokes up and down. And then you take a Sharpie and make strokes up and down. Like which one's going to be easier to pick up?
Right.
The Sharpie. So it's the same thing with the dots. You're not shooting a perfect dot, you're shooting a streak of a line. So I like the 6 MOA dot, and I do like the 12-round mags because they print less than the 17-round mags on the macros.
Okay.
So the macro usually does that. Like they come with 17 rounds, and it just sticks out a little bit more. It does give you a better purchase with your hand. So my hand like barely comes off the bottom of this gun, but I can still reload it. I might have to like move my pinky slightly, but I still get a full grip on the gun whenever I'm shooting it with or without the magazine. It just makes the reloads a little bit slower, but like in carry, you're not probably reloading the gun as quickly.
Right.
So I do like the 12-round part of it. But yeah, that's the gun that I'm carrying. I really like it. Everybody that usually shoots it ends up enjoying it too because it shoots like a full-size gun.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's funny. So I have a lot of guns on the table which you can't see. But I do have an equivalent non-ported version of it. The 365 XL, right? So it's the one I carry this one a lot. Also with the EPS carry, I think that's really kind of our de facto standard now for carry optics.
Yeah. So that one, or the SIG just released a new one, the SIG Romeo X enclosed emitter, which is like the same thing. It just has a battery on the side with a screw. Yeah. But those two optics are the two like go-tos now.
Yeah.
I do like an enclosed emitter instead of an open emitter for carry because it just stays a whole lot cleaner.
Yeah.
And doesn't have all kinds of junk that fills up with
accumulates and stuff like that. Yeah. And we both been carrying for multiple years. And the lint accumulation is a thing, but also if you have open emitter, it's fine. I mean, you just have to clean it off. You just have to know that you have to clean it off. The thing that I like about the EPS carry in particular is you don't have to take the dot off to change the battery. Yeah. Right. Once you zero it, you never lose your zero.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you have a dot that you have to take the battery off, I'd highly recommend switching it out.
Upgrade.
Upgrade it now, because every dot out there, the newer ones, like they do have battery compartments, little trays or side batteries that you don't have to take it off. Because that's a huge thing with whenever you take it off, you got to mount it back on. You got to wait for the Loctite to dry. If the Loctite doesn't dry, then you got to redo it. You have a dot shift 0. Like it's just a mess. And you got to change the battery every 6 months, right? So it's like you got to do that every 6 months to keep up with it. It's just too much headache.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that is one gun that I carry a lot. The other gun that I carry, actually now it's my go-to carry gun, is the what is this? The Staccato CS.
Yep.
Right.
Staccato CS.
And this is really the gun that I started carrying to drink my own Kool-Aid when I recommend carry guns to people. Particularly the folks who do competition, right? I recommend to folks a lot of times, they'll ask me, okay, what should I carry? Now I'm competing. What should I carry? I tell them, you should carry a small version of what you compete with, right? And if you're shooting a Smith, you get a shield. If you're shooting a SIG, get a 365, Glock, get a smaller Glock, that kind of thing. It's real easy to do that, right? It becomes harder when you shoot open, right? Yeah. And so the thing that I kind of went back to and why I switched, I think I switched maybe 6-8 months ago now.
It's probably been close to
something like that. Yeah. Was that you want to, the way I look at competition is this, it's like, those are just your reps. Like you're going to get the most reps doing your competition stuff. If you're in a competition, you're going to dry fire your competition rig. You're going to do reloads on your competition rig, all of that stuff. And so, you'll be very tuned up and familiar with that gun, and it'll take you not a lot of time to ramp up if you've been off that gun for a while, right? And so what I was doing, I shoot open, and I was carrying a 365 with no optic, right? So the first thing I had to change, like, okay, if I'm shooting an optic, anywhere between 10 to 30,000 rounds a year, depending on the year, right? I need to carry an optic.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the first change I made. So when I went from this, I did have this the smaller 365, no optic, right? So I changed to that Excel that we just showed, and then now it's like the gun manipulate, like, so now I have an optic, but now the grip is a little bit different. So when I draw the gun out of wherever I'm concealed, which we'll talk about that in a minute, the dot's always out of the window. Why? Because I'm gripping it different than I grip my open gun, and I grip my open gun every day, right? So, so then I said, okay, I've been telling people for years, you should carry a smaller version of what you compete with. And while I can't carry a completely open gun, like an open carry gun, like that doesn't exist. The next best thing, when Staccato came out with the small CS, it's a Glock 19 sized pistol. Right.
Yep.
And basically in every dimension, it's like, okay, well, I can carry that. And, and I think you may have been even at the range when I did it, when I was just testing dry fire, I had a holster, and I just, okay, well, I'm going to put the holster on. I'm going to walk around with this gun, and then I'm just going to randomly draw it and see if I can find the dot. And it was 100% of the time I'd grab the gun, and it was like, okay, boom, dot's there. Boom, dot's there. It's like, okay, well, this is stupid. Like,
and you had the safeties, like, you
correct
train with safeties all the time, so it's like having your thumb on top of that safety is easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing until we posted a video about something about safeties, and that it was that if you have a safety on the gun, it should be activated at all, like when it's holstered.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was controversial.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Like, so people like they'll have the safety whenever it's holstered, but like whenever it comes out the holster, a lot of times they'll like keep the safety on.
Yeah. No, I've the people that were arguing online were like people saying, okay, let's, like, for example, here they'll here. Let me get this little Kydex thing out. I can't even do it on this holster, right? But so they'll holster it with the safety off.
Oh no. Yeah,
it's like bad. That's what they were trying to argue with me. It's like, have you lost your mind?
Yeah. Like, no.
This is a 20, like, this trigger is really light.
Yeah.
Even in a stock trigger configuration, this trigger is really light. Like, the last thing you want to do is have that safety off
And then click the safety off. Click the safety on in the holster. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it saves you time. It's like, it does not save you any time.
You're reholstering. Like, there should be no time. Like, the timer's off.
Yeah. It's so but I didn't know that was an argument.
That's crazy. I didn't know that either.
But then, but like the safety, like the larger picture of having a safety on your carry gun was like, I mean, to me, that's personal preference, but there are a lot of people mad about that.
Oh yeah. That was like a big thing for a long period of time. And people are like, oh, you should never have a safety. And if you're comfortable with a safety, that like, it's not a bad thing. You just got to use it. The issue is that whenever people have a safety, they don't use it, then that's a problem. Like, right. Then I say, don't have a safety on your gun. But if you're training with it, that's fine. The reason why they don't train with it is they come to the range, they take the safety off, they shoot the gun. Whenever it goes to slide lock, they just put the gun down, reload the mag, and then pick it back up and start shooting. Yeah. Right. So they never click the safety on until they go to put it in the holster and leave. Yeah. So it's like, no. If you're going to put this gun back on the table, like reload the gun, click the gun on safe, then set it down on the table. Right. So where every time you pick up the gun from the table, you're taking the safety off. Yeah. And that's what they weren't doing. Yeah. That becomes a problem because whenever you get the gun in your hand, you're not thinking, hey, let me take the safety off. Right. You're just thinking, oh, let me go and shoot. And then the safety's still on if you're in a life or death type of situation. You know,
the other thing I heard recently, so Ben Steger put up a video like 2 days ago, right? Talking about, again, it's like a 2011 safety. So clearly it's a popular thing to talk about, right? But I guess some user asked, when do you sweep the safety off? You know, and in your draw stroke, he's like, as late as possible. And he was giving examples of people he taught in class who were like, he said by far the most ADs he sees in class are with 2011s, right? Which makes sense. Yeah. And he said, and by and large, it's because people, they sweep the safety off while it's in the holster. So they'll grab the gun in the holster and they'll go ahead and take the safety off.
That's not good.
And it's like, like, again, it's like, have you lost your mind? Like, what do you know? You know, people always brag about, you know, with their competition guns, especially like in open or limited. It's like, hey, feel my trigger, feel how light it is. It's like,
we had a friend that shot his leg because he swept the safety off. Then, you know? It's like, it should be the last draw stroke. Like whenever I'm pushing the gun out or whenever the gun's on target, I take the safety off. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That in like fast drawing things.
Somewhere. So me, it's somewhere between. So it's always the muzzle's out.
The muzzle's out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the muzzle's on the target, so I can sweep the safety off. Yes. I might not have like full presentation. Right. But the muzzle is on the target. So both my hands are together and the safety's off.
Yeah. I think for me, it's somewhere between when my hands meet for the draw.
That's what mine is.
Yeah. It's like somewhere right in that area, but it's like, it's always, the muzzle has to be away from me.
Yeah. Because if I get all the way to full extension, it's harder for me to like push the safety down with my right hand. Yeah. So like whenever my left hand is like at the L-shaped part like this, that's whenever the safety like usually comes off. Yeah. Gun's pointed.
Well, Max was even saying that he doesn't click his safety off till the push out.
To the push out. Yeah.
Yep. And me, it always pinches my thumb if I'm.
Mine too.
Yeah. So I click it like before then, but not in the holster.
Not in the holster and not like while it's coming up. If the gun's still pointed down, I do not click it off because that can
Yeah, I think mine is like here, here, somewhere in this motion up and out where, you know, the hands are meeting, and that's where mine comes off. Yep. So, but because I tried to change it to where what Max was saying on the push up, I was like, man, it's too late for me.
Yeah, it's too late for me too, because I got to like redirect my grip.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. Yeah. So
and I always also use like safeties off if I'm in possession of the gun, and safety doesn't come back on until I reholster the gun. Yeah. And same thing with like rifles or anything like that. And that usually is a huge controversial subject. They're like, safety's always supposed to be on until you make a shot, and then right after you finish making a shot, you click safety back on. It's like there's too much stuff going on. Right. And I never like remember to put the safety back on or like check the safety if I go to sling the rifle. Right. So I just know like right before I sling the rifle, I'm gonna click the safety on and then go back. Right. And people freak out about that, and it's like, well, what about like Glock pistols? Like, you know, it doesn't have a safety. Like you're running an AR-15, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, it's you're moving around. You're like in a tactical world, like you're moving around, pointing guns and stuff. Your finger's straight, right? Right. And then all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, but the safety's supposed to be on. But then whenever you have a Glock pistol and there's no safety and you're still doing the same things, it's like, well, what's the difference?
Right.
You know? So, the safety's usually off, but my finger is straight, not on the trigger.
Right. I mean, and that's the main thing, right? It's like, we talked about that before plenty of times. Like your number one safety is your finger off the trigger. Like
Right.
there's no, if your finger's not touching the trigger, you know, the gun's not going to go off.
And it's just easier if you're using a shotgun, if you're using a AK, if you're using like whatever, like a Grand, right? Like, I mean, that safety's like inside the trigger guard, right? So it's like, I'm not sticking my finger in there and then trying to do that fast. Like, I just take the safety off and then my finger is up. And then whenever I want to press the trigger, I put my finger inside the trigger guard.
Right. Yeah. So that was a tangent, but I think it's a necessary tangent. Don't, you know, if you have a safety, use it. You know, if you don't want to have a safety, just get a different gun.
Yep,
it's fine.
Get a different gun.
Get it. Good. Well, and that's the misnomer that Glocks don't have safeties. They do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
SIGs have safeties. Yeah. They're just put in a different place. Right.
Yeah, there's no manual safety.
There's no thumb safety. Yeah. It's all built into your trigger.
Yep.
So, anyway, okay. So, what we wanted to talk about was, where do you carry? How do you carry? Right. So I guess, what do you want to get into first? Like positioning or?
Yeah. So like, explain the gun that I carry. The place I usually carry at, I carry with this holster. It's a tier 1 concealed holster. It has a magazine pouch and the holster connected to it. It has these little bungee things that move. But I carry it Appendix. So it's right in front of me, like right where my belt buckle would be. Offset my belt buckle. It's easier to get to. That was like the first place that I started carrying a gun. Right whenever I started to, I had a uncle that was an air marshal, so like they sit in airplanes all day, so that's the way he carried a gun. So that's the way like I learned how to carry a gun. You know, like I didn't know any other way. So that's mainly the way that I carry a gun. Every once in a while, like if I wear a suit or something, then I'll wear it at like 4 o'clock position in a different holster that doesn't have the magazine pouch connected to it. It's just the holster itself. That's pretty comfortable too, and that's like the second most popular place that people usually carry. And I do recommend both of those. So either Appendix carry right in front of you, or strong side of around 4 o'clock position, not at the 3 o'clock position, because usually that your body's like shaped like an oval, so it produces a lot of pressure on your hip, and it's not as concealable because the gun is now like going straight back. So you see like all the butt of the gun sticking out past
100%
your side. Whereas if you go 4 o'clock position, it kind of tucks the butt of the gun into your back that way. And that way it's more concealable, and it's not as like stressful on your hips. So I do like that way also. But I think that's the 2 most popular ways. And it's usually the 2 places that I like recommend, you know? The places that I usually don't recommend are like shoulder holsters, you know, like Crossdraw, anything like trying to like John Wayne it, right? Like, trying to do all that stuff. Like, so that the reason why I don't like Crossdraw is because you flag people. Like you flag yourself or you flag people. It's very hard not to do that.
Right.
And we don't let people draw them in the range because of that reason. Because like you're actually, whenever you first draw the gun, it's pointed backwards. Right. And then you have to like move it all the way around. Right. So that's usually not a safe thing because you're flagging people as you cross it. You're doing this. Right. Whereas on Appendix or strong side, whenever the gun comes out, it's staying down. And then it comes to your center line of your body, and then you can present it out. So then you're always like on the threat in front of you. You're not like just wailing the pistol around. So that's like part of the draw stroke that we have to like make people understand. If you're at 4 o'clock position, you're not coming straight out and then kind of rolling the gun this way. You're coming up and then it's staying pointed down until you get to the center line of your body. Then you're pressing it. Because if you point the gun at people on the side that are innocent, like it's not a good thing.
You don't want to point guns at people that don't need to point.
Rule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of the 4 firearm safety rules. So I usually don't recommend cross draw. Usually don't recommend ankle holsters because
they're about ankle.
They're just like, it is a thing. Like if that's the only place you're going to carry out of any of these, then carry however you want to. But I don't like it because like it gives up your mobility. You have to stop what you're doing, take a knee in order to get to the gun. You can't just like do it on the run, right? Yeah. So if you're like running out of a building or if you're saving someone, it's a lot more difficult to get the gun out of your ankle than just on your waistband. Also, the pocket holsters, that's another way that people sometimes carry. And the con about that is like it's hard to get inside your pocket, right? You know, especially like if you're like taking martial arts or anything, like people are hitting you in the face, it's kind of difficult to reach inside your pocket and grab that thing.
Correct.
You know, So it is an option, but it's just like not the most optimal.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, and the other thing about pocket draw is that it's not always in the same place every time. You
Right.
can't practice the same exact draw every time.
Exactly. Yep. Another way that's becoming very popular now is like bags. So bags are becoming more popular lately because of like the shoulder bags and fanny pack style bags. They're becoming more in style now. So back like whenever I first started carrying a gun, like no one carried those bags ever. Right.
Yeah.
So if you did carry one, everyone knew you had a gun.
Correct.
So you're like, oh, you have a gun because you have this fanny pack on, right? Nowadays, people are carrying them just like regular bags, like people that don't carry guns. So if you carry a gun in it, it doesn't look suspicious, right? So those are kind of cool, and they have like big levers on them. And they usually stay in the same spots, and they're pretty easy to draw from. So those are very popular. The other things is if you don't run belts, there's different clips that you can use to like kind of cinch it down. That way you can cinch it
these
on, like,
metal clips are real
sweatpants.
important.
They are, yeah. And these metal clips will actually stay on sweatpants. But the Alti clip ones are like built exactly for that, like sweatpants or yoga pants or any of that stuff. Trying to think of any other places to carry guns.
I like so. I mean, you know me. I've been doing this for ever since we've known each other. I carry Appendix, but I carry deep conceal.
Yeah, deep.
So
Appendix.
And what I mean by deep conceal. So you carry right in the front, and so do I. But my carry holster allows me to drop it beneath the belt line.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, it is ultimately more comfortable to do that. Right. And so my setup, so I have this, I go through Smart Carry. They make this holster that it's like a belt that goes inside your, like it wraps around your waist and stuff like that. And what I'll do is I'll take this Kydex holster. Lately, I've been using, I've ordered two now. This is from Carry Concealment, Carey, Carry Concealment, because they will cut off the front sight channel thing here so that it fits basically directly in to my Smart Carry, so that I have a Kydex holster in, and you can tell like by how difficult it is for me to clip it in that it sticks when,
Yeah, those clips are awesome.
It sticks to it when I try to pull the gun, so.
Discrete concept clips is the clips. Yeah. It is.
So, and safety's on there. So basically, and this is how I carry, and I just wrap it and it's just right below the belt line, but I could drive, and I've taken trips, you and I, when we drive to matches, I'll drive with this holster on 8 hours, 10 hours, and I go running in this holster. I go rucking in this holster. I do, I can't do bike rides very easily in this holster, but other types of like just exercise and just going around all day, very, very easy to access your gun. The thing that I do when I have to wear a suit is I'll just change the size of the gun. Yeah. Same thing. So now, like, for example, like this is my church holster in a sense, right? And so instead of carrying a wider Staccato, I'll carry the XL, or I may even go to the 365 if I'm wearing a suit, or something, but same place. Yeah. And to me, the combo of having this fabric holster with the Kydex is the winning combo. And
that's a good thing, like keeping it all the same every time. Like I try to tell people to do that. Even though I don't do it if I'm wearing a suit, I wear it somewhere different. Right. But that's optimal. It's like if I can carry in the same spot each and every day, then that's awesome.
But to your point, and I think for us, and this is another benefit for those who don't do competition, another benefit to doing competition is that you and I have so many reps drawing from our hip. Yeah. So many reps that it's not going to be a big deal for us to go hunt for that gun somewhere around our hip.
No, yeah. And as long as you have to have the reps of every holster, right? So like if it's a outside the waistband holster, put in, 10,000 reps. If it's a Appendix holster, put in 10,000 reps. If it's and I have them in all those positions, right? So it's like, okay, I know where the gun's at. I can like draw it right before I walk out the door. It's like, all right, I'm good. And I can walk out. It like goes back to that spot. Yeah. It's not something that I'm learning on the fly. Right.
Yeah. The other holster that I do like when I do carry a little bit higher. So I have this, this 19 that with the old Keeper's concealment. Right?
Oh yeah, I remember whenever you got that holster.
Yeah. This is actually a really nice one too, but it carries a little bit higher. It's like more pure appendix. But the nice thing about them is that they put fabric on the back of it, and they give you these little wedges to kind of offset it from your body. You know, actually, and not offset it. What I mean is, so when you carry appendix, your belt goes through here. A lot of times with the weight of the gun and the mag, it'll lean forward, so it'll print out on your shirt. But they give you these wedges, so it pushes against your body, so it kind of makes the gun go more straight up and down, so that it just essentially for a larger firearm on a smaller body, you know, it makes it a little bit more concealable, right? A little less comfortable than the deep conceal for me, but it still works just fine.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. That's my preferred. But I think the one thing you just mentioned is really important, is that it doesn't, you know, in wherever you carry deep conceal, regular appendix, off your hip, whatever it is, you got to get the reps.
Yeah,
you know,
get reps.
You can't just put that gun on there and just assume you know where it's going to be in a very stressful time.
And it doesn't have to be like all at one time. It can be like just, you know, 3 times a week if you do it for like 10 reps every time you do it. You know, like make sure the gun's unloaded and just draw it right before you take your gun off. Like if you carry the gun every day, then draw it 10 times and then go ahead and load it back up and put it in a drawer and like leave it there.
Correct.
Like it's super easy. It takes maybe 10 seconds.
A minute?
Yeah.
Not long at all.
Super fast to do it. So go ahead and get the reps in as often as you can. Even if you've been like, if you have the 10,000 reps in, it's still a good idea to do that. Like, you know,
well, just make it a habit.
Make it a habit.
Just make it a habit.
Like, hey, I haven't done this in a while. I need to get back on it. And I do that every so often. Like, don't shoot this gun as much as I'd shoot like open guns or limited optics guns. But every once in a while I'll get in the range and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to practice headshots at like 7 yards on a hostage target with my concealed gun.
Right.
You know, because I haven't done it in a while. And just in case someone tries to like kidnap someone, I want to be able to shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
You know?
Do
something like that from concealment. But so try to like remember those little things with your concealed carry gun and try to get back to training with them every so often. It could be once a month. It could be once every couple months if you're shooting like all these other guns, but like once a month would be ideal.
Sure.
You know, like just having one day shoot 50 rounds out of your carry gun and be good with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's for me, the advantage of now carrying a Staccato is that it's like, okay, it's not a chore to shoot it's not a chore to shoot the carry gun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, it's like just going out and shooting, right?
Yeah.
Because so I don't know if I told you, my buddy Chris in Kentucky, he went to his first IDPA match 2 weeks ago or something like that, right?
Okay.
So before then he was like everybody does, right? Everybody's trying to like study and like, okay, what do I need to get better at and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, there's not really much you can do before you go to your first match and figure out what it is.
Yeah.
But what you can do is do like doubles and stuff. So you know how to control the gun. Like, you know what it's going to be at speed kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't really have to have a great result, but at least you know what it feels like, you know? And so I went out to the range and I videoed. I was like, this is how you do doubles, right? Just for him. Just here's this video. This is how I do doubles. This is what you want to look for, blah, 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 blah. And I used the carry gun. And it was like, when I was shooting it, I was like, oh, this is kind of like, it was like the Shadow 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. This is a legit regular gun. Like I could compete with this gun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I like that because, you know, now I feel like, oh, it'd be cool to actually go out there and put that on a rig and compete with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty cool.
So, but yeah, you need to get reps, whatever you do, however you convince yourself to get reps behind your carry gun, you need to, right? Yeah. That is a very important thing.
Yep. And like we have a carry match every once in a while at Sentry.
Yeah, I think now every 2 or 3 months, something.
So that's kind of cool. And it's for that, like to get people more familiar with their carry guns and stuff.
Right. Well, and if you don't have, I mean, you know, there aren't really any rules in either USPSA or IDPA that preclude you from using your carry setup, right? You know,
you can use it.
You could use your setup.
Yep.
You know, however you want to.
Same thing with police officers. They use duty setups, you know?
Yeah. So, and you know, the thing that people get bent around the axle about is like, oh, well, it's going to put me into open. It's going to put me into things. It's like, yeah, well, when you're competing with your carry gun, does it matter what division? You put me in PCC for all I care. Like, exactly. I know I'm not going to win, but I'm practicing.
Yeah.
So
it's just another form of practice.
Yeah.
Another question people usually ask is like, how do you carry like in your vehicle or something? Because like they want to keep a gun in there.
Yeah. This is a weird one for me.
It is a weird one because like I usually don't recommend like just keeping it in your vehicle, but like if you gotta like if you can't bring it into work or something, you gotta like lock it up.
Or you're picking your kids up from school.
Yeah, picking your kids up from school, like try to lock it up into some safe if you're leaving it in the vehicle. But do not get those little holsters that go underneath the steering wheel. Like you see those all the time.
Magnets.
Or some people ask me about those. They're like, hey, like there's this little magnet thing or this little holster that you can bolt underneath the steering wheel and it's like easy for in my vehicle. And it's like the famous commercial is like them pumping gas or at a gas station, right? And someone comes up to carjack them and like, oh, look how easy it is for that. And usually like you end up hitting your steering wheel whenever you try to like draw the gun.
Yeah.
But it leaves the gun exposed. So you leave your vehicle, you go down to the grocery store or whatever, and crime happens there. You're not running back into your vehicle, getting the gun, and then going back in. Right. That's a crime.
Yeah.
Like you're going back into fighting that. But also, like while you're in there, if there's people walking around outside, they see the gun in your vehicle.
100%.
Right? Like it's exposed. So they're just going to break your glass and get your gun. Now you got to repair a glass and you got to buy a new gun.
Exactly.
Right? So,
and you got to file a police report because it's a stolen gun. It's like a big problem.
It's a huge thing. So like, don't just leave it out exposed like that. If you leave a gun inside your vehicle, it should be locked up somehow in like a little box.
Right.
Or it should be like underneath a seat or something to where people can't see it as they walk by.
Yeah. I think minimum, you have to hide it.
Well, minimum you have to hide it. Even if you're just like running into the convenience store to grab something and coming back, it should be underneath something on the floorboard or something like that. Sometimes I have a rifle in the vehicle, like if we're traveling, it's like way in the back.
Yeah.
So like if I have a concealed carry gun on, but if I have to like get to the back of the vehicle, if something happens like blocking traffic or something, I can get back there, load up all the guns, and then go. But that's also like, you know, tucked back to where nobody can see it. There's other stuff on it.
Right.
To where if you do stop somewhere, you can't just peek into the vehicle and see a rifle case.
Right.
Right. They don't see a rifle case.
Yeah. I did have my car broken into once when I first started carrying a gun, and I had it the gun hidden in the car, you know, and, you know, they stole the radio and they stole some other stuff, but they did not take the gun. You know, because it was hidden, you know, and a lot of times, you know, people, when they're committing crimes like that, it's like a smash and grab kind of stuff where they're not really searching the car. They're kind of like, they see a thing, they smash the window, they grab the thing, and they're out of there.
That's what they're looking for because the alarm's going off.
Correct.
Right. So like, they don't want to cause attention. So they know they have like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they're not like searching through everything. So like, they're going to break the glass. Like they're first inspecting it, right? Making sure they see what they want in there. They're not just going to break a glass and then look for stuff.
Right.
They're like scoping out the scene before. They see a couple items. They're like, yeah, I want those items. They break the glass. After that, they might look into a glove compartment or the center console to see if there's anything very valuable right away. And then they're going.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the Shiloh guys actually had this quote, and I really liked it. He said, your car is not a holster, you know? And I think like by and large, that is a good rule to have, right? Like if you're like the pumping gas example, if you're pumping gas, the gun should be on you.
Yeah.
You know, the only time I think the gun should come off of you is when you're not legally, you know, like you're not able to have it.
Yeah.
You know, now I do also appreciate that, like for people who are long distance driving, that everybody type is different, right? So not everybody's going to find a comfortable way to have a gun on for 12 hours.
Right.
You know, especially if they don't have like you can if you're wearing it like a duty rig, you know, but even if, you know, if you're not wearing the duty rig and you're concealing and you're whatever, like that's a long drive, you know? So it's okay to, you know, put it somewhere else, put it in the glove box while you're driving, whatever, you know, but I think so, you know, one of the Shiloh guys, I remember him saying, get a safe, you know, one of these safes that bolt to the, if you have to carry it in your car long term, get a safe that bolts to the ground or something and it's hidden. Like I think the example he gave, like he had a truck and in the back of the truck he could lift up the thing and he could put a safe underneath there and it would bolt to the frame. Yeah. You know,
and somewhere where it's secure too. Like if you're just taking it off to drive and then you're going to put it back on before you get out of the vehicle, like take the whole holster out with the gun. Don't just take the gun out. Yeah. Right. Because you want something that's going to completely cover the trigger guard.
That's a good point.
And then it also like it's safe this way. So if you're like messing around in your vehicle and something like accidentally happens, if you take the gun out, you can press the trigger and then shoot yourself. Yeah. Right. So like take the whole holster out with it and then just put the holster in between like the seat and the center console. You know, like you can smash them in between there.
Yeah.
To where it's staying there. Like it's pretty like rigid.
Yeah.
Because if something happens, like if you just throw it on the floorboard or something, and all of a sudden you slam the brakes and it slides underneath your brake pedal or underneath your gas pedal, now you can't like get to the gun. Then you can't press your brake or gas. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got a big problem.
You got a big problem, right? Yeah. Or if something happens where someone hits you in a wreck and then the gun goes flying and then they get out to like, ambush you, and you can't get to the gun.
You don't know where it is.
You don't know where it's at. It's gone. Or it could like fly and hit somebody in the head. You know? So like try to secure it somewhere where it's not going to be rolling around and you still have access to it at all times.
Yeah, makes sense. And if at all possible, don't keep it in the gun long term or keep it in the car long term.
Exactly.
Because that's just,
especially at night. Like there's no reason a gun should be staying in your vehicle at night.
Correct.
Like, with your doors unlocked and all the other stuff. Like, take the guns out every day.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's just getting in that good habit of that's a maintenance thing almost.
Yeah, it's a maintenance
Just make sure that you can account for your firearms at all times. Like, so, and I keep talking about sometimes you have like, keep in mind, like if you're going to a bar or you're going to some, like certain, like you can't take it into a school or you're going to vote or do whatever. Like, I get it. You got to do it, but then just take every precaution you can.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So, because the other thing too is you got to know, like people are going to target those cars. People looking for guns are going to target those. If they see one, and they're looking for a gun, oh boom, like they're grabbing it. Like another thing, and this is a little bit spicy because people like to do this stuff, but if you're a person who likes to keep your gun in the car, don't put a gun sticker on your car.
Yeah.
Because they're going to know what's in there, or an NRA sticker or whatever. It's like if you are one who has to always keep your gun in the car for some reason, right? They're legit reasons.
Right.
Don't advertise that you have a gun.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
like, I always thought about like wrapping my vehicle, like with Sentry defense stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I do that, like I cannot leave any guns in there.
Never.
Ever.
Yeah. You can't even leave ammo in there.
Yeah. It's like, because everyone knows what it's going to be, So it's like, man, if I ever get a sports car, then I'm going to do it then.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an everyday driver.
That's right. Yeah. So, no, I think that's pretty good. Anything else you think we need to cover?
No, I think that's it.